Welcome back to your favorite talk show, Perspectives, here on UTV. You must be wondering, Sam is back to talk about another corporate success story. But no, you are mistaken, because here on Perspectives, we don't just talk corporate success stories. We also talk about other causes, like social causes, humanitarian causes, other good things that people do. And one such human being who's doing some amazing things, who's championing some brilliant humanitarian causes. I call her the Mother Teresa of Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on Perspectives, Miss Razni Razick of Gampola. Is that where you're from?
Yes, thank you.
I've heard so many things about it, Razni. You know, we're friends online, on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. Every time I see your stories and your posts, you're doing multiple things. There's lots of things that are going on with your organization. Orphans and empowering women and building houses. Tell us the things that you are involved in, so we know once and for all the awesome things that Razni is doing.
Thank you very much, Sam. So actually, I'm full-time engaged in my organization's activities. We are a non-profit, non-political, non-religious organization working towards community development and social welfare. Our projects are carried out in 22 districts throughout the year. We provide self-empowerment opportunities for women-headed families and widows. We provide educational sponsorships and orphan sponsorships and disaster relief, housing for the homeless, and also refugee assistance. We have been recognized as operational partners for the UNHCR.
Nice.
As well. Apart from that, I serve as an advisory council member for the United States Institute of Peace. It's a national independent institute founded by the United States, the Congress of the United States. They work with global youth leaders to prevent violent conflict and promote global peace. Apart from that, I also serve as an advisory council member for the Generation Never Give Up Network, Sri Lanka. So it is children growing up in childcare institutions in Sri Lanka are compelled by the country's law to leave the childcare institution that they grew up in once they turn 18. Unfortunately, there is no proper mechanism to support this vulnerable group of youth who are leaving the care homes, and they become invisible once they leave the childcare system. So the Generation Never Give Up network is formed by the caregivers for the caregivers, and it is a space where the youth leaving childcare institutions can find the support that they need to face the challenges of an independent life through a nationwide peer network. It is a cause that's very near and dear to my heart, which I have been actively and passionately involved in since its inception back in 2017. Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of things to process. That's a lot of humanitarian causes. But it's amazing, for someone as young as you to be taking on such a big responsibility in terms of like taking care of orphans, empowering women, like I said, building houses, and doing so many other things that you listed. As a young schoolgoer, was this something that you always wanted to do, or was there something that happened in your life that sparked this sort of humanitarian in you, and you decided, you know what, this is the path I'm taking? What happened?
Social work was something that I was naturally drawn to because my parents were actively involved in a lot of social work. Especially my father was engaged in a lot of community service in uplifting the vulnerable families in his village community. So this is the type of work I saw growing up, and I always knew I wanted to make a difference in the world. But the defining moment for me was when I went into volunteering at a center for street children, and soon after I realized that this is what I was meant to do all along.
Okay. All right. So it was sort of ingrained in you from your family, wasn't it? Social
yes,
service.
That's right.
Brilliant. Okay. We're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, I'll ask Razni, from all the amazing things that she does, which one it is that gives her the most satisfaction. See you on the other side of the break. Welcome back to Perspectives. We are in conversation with Ms. Razni Razick, the founder of Carestation. She's been telling us a lot of things about what she does and how she goes about because of her husband's support in all the work that she does. Razny, in all the work that you actually do, I'm sure there are multiple things you are engaged in. You must be coming across so many different stories every day. You know, there are some personal stories that can really touch your life. I've gone through certain instances where I've realized, you know, sometimes the privilege that some of us have, we don't realize it, we take it for granted. I'm sure you've been through certain circumstances as well. Maybe you can share us a story where it really hit you and it really touched you personally, it really had an emotional bearing on you.
There are many stories like that. When you're in this field, you cannot generalize. Each person's plight is different, and and the reality is often very cruel and unsatisfying. So one such incident was when I was volunteering at one of the centers for street children. It was a drop-in daycare center where they bring the children and drop them off and take them back in the evening. Most of them are from the streets and had no other place to go to. So there was this one lady who was convicted of attempted murder, who was not in a stable mental mind. Okay. So so we were aware of that, but it was all over the media and it was blown out of proportion, and she was convicted of attempted murder, and the heads of the center for street children and we got involved, and we bailed her out, and we proved her innocence, and she came to me one day to meet me once she was released from the jail. So I was under the impression that she had come to meet me and to generally would thank us for the help that was provided. But when she came to me, the first thing she said was, Madam, ඔයාට බැරිද මාව ආපහු හිරේටම යවන්න, because I was given 3 meals a day, clean clothes to wear, and I would prefer, I had a good life there. So is it not possible for you to help me to get back there? So that really shook me. And another incident was where I was counseling at a school. This was a school for the extremely poverty-stricken and underprivileged families, and there was a child, again a homeless child, who'd come to school, and I was working as a counselor there, and I came to know that I was counseling. I was told by the teachers that she seemed disturbed. She had to go back and take care of her siblings, and they were on the streets, and she had to go through a lot, and that many of us only hear on movies or on TV, you know. So so this instance was that I was volunteering at the school. So I had come to Colombo for an event, and I was returning back home. It was a Sunday night, and in the morning, Monday morning, I could have gone to school, but I was lazy to wake up. Okay. That day I was tired, I was lazy, we had come home late in the night, so I just stayed back. So the following day when I went to school, the teachers told me that this girl was looking for me the previous day. She had come in search of me to talk to me, and but when I went in search of her to her class, but she had not attended school that day. So when I got back home, I got the message that she had committed suicide. So that is something that still haunts me till date, because I keep asking myself, had I gone that day, maybe I could have talked her out of it. And so you see, in this field, people are always reaching out to you because they are in desperate need for some kind of support, and they call you at all times of the day and night. So it gets really overwhelming, but I try my very best since that day to be there for all of them when they need me, because I always fear that it can be too late otherwise.
And that must take a lot of effort from your part, despite being, you know, a wife, a mother, and with so many things going on in your life, having to answer each and every distress call out there Must be quite tough. How do you balance, Razni, between being a mother, a wife, there is a home, I'm sure there are in-laws, there's your family as well, and then with all the work that you do, it must be a lot of effort putting that balance together. How do you do it?
I'm still learning to get there myself.
Okay.
Having a busy social calendar and having a busy toddler-filled life are two entirely different things. Motherhood has made them a little more hectic and busy, but more importantly, it has made my work more meaningful and our lives a lot better in more ways than I can count. Since newborn baby days, I have taken my son along with me everywhere I went, to meetings, to events, to award ceremonies, to field visits, and it has helped us bond, and baby likes being around people and traveling. So I hope having my son beside me will arm him with the tools to do the same when he grows up.
And you're leaving a legacy behind, aren't you? You're teaching him the kind of work that you're doing, and he too will then hopefully walk in your footsteps. Brilliant.
Yes. Also, my husband and I, we discuss our program, the events and the meetings with each other, and plan our days accordingly.
So then let's sort of put things together eventually.
Yeah, so we realize that end of the day, our relationship and our son is the most important work.
Of course, yes. Raising children is one of the most important works and one of the most challenging things to do, isn't it? You know, Razni, this is something that always bothers me, is that, you know, we all want to do charity work. Everyone wants to do charity work. Nobody is inherently evil that they don't want to help others. Everybody wants to help others. But sometimes, due to bad experience where you help someone and it turns out that that person ended up doing something wrong with the sort of support you gave them. I mean, you see beggars on the streets sometimes. People tell you, okay, don't give this person money because he's into drugs. And then someone comes and asks you for help. You're not sure. You're not too convinced whether you want to help this person because you don't know and you haven't done your research. Now, how do you get rid of this? Because I've seen that even genuine people who are seeking help then don't get that help because of this issue of people not being able to trust. How do you work around that? Is there something you would recommend to people before they give out charity, that, you know, there's something like a litmus test perhaps?
I wouldn't encourage people to give money to the homeless families blindly, but because it keeps the syndicate going, and you know, they're getting used to that. They're getting used to that sort of thing. So you'd rather try to give them what they need, maybe clothing, maybe food, and speak to them and see which way you could help them come off that lifestyle, because it's very challenging. Helping homeless families, street families especially, requires a lot of time and effort, because in most instances they don't actually tell you the facts, but in few cases we have helped families. We have taken families off the streets and helped them sustain themselves. Actually, the reason being also one, like most of the women on the streets happen to be children who once left the care homes when they turned 18, and they had no guidance, they had no exposure to the society, so they fall back to the streets. The men, of course, try to find ways to fend for themselves, but women, they fall on to prostitution and other ways to make money, because they don't have their documents with them, like the birth certificate, because even to work at the municipal you require an identity card, which they do not have, and they do not know where to go and how to get it from. So what we do, what we have done, is we tried for those who are genuinely interested to come out of that cycle. We have gotten them the identity card and a job, and we provide them 6 months we find them a place to stay, and we for rent, a home for rent, and we provide the key money and the monthly rent, and find them a job until they're able to sustain themselves after about 6 months or 1 year. And it has helped. but also we have had many women go back to the street because that's easy money, of course.
True. I guess it's the old theory of teaching a man to fish, isn't it? Rather than giving them a fish and letting them eat it for a day. That is the story of a lot of people, isn't it? So I guess charity isn't so much about just giving someone money, but it's also giving time and effort and finding out what someone's problems are, and then helping them come out of it. It's not just passing out a note and expecting the problem to be solved. Razni, you are truly an inspiring personality. I mean, I'm sitting here already feeling that there are much more things that I can do than just sitting here and conducting talk shows. There are so many things that I can do to help people with my time and effort. There are many more girls, I'm sure, out there, younger than you, wanting to be the next Razni Razick, wanting to be the next social causes humanitarian champion. It's not an easy path to walk, I'm sure. You've had your challenges, you must have had your obstacles going along this path. What advice would you give them to such young girls as a closing remark on this show?
I would like to extend this message to all young people of all religious faiths. There's no universal prescription for this challenge, but I do believe two factors are critical. One is commitment and learning, and the other is determination and perseverance. Think critically about how you want to make a mark and how you want to be of service to the people and to our country, and find a purpose and inspiration to carry you forward. And as for the young Muslim girls like myself, I would say firstly our community needs to realize that social work is an inherent part of our faith. Allah says in the Quran that we need to address the needs of the needy, the orphans, and in terms of social justice for those who are oppressed. And so it is it is important that we acknowledge and recognize this as a society, and as a society that it is an inherent part of our day-to-day life and our way to get to Jannah. That is the first step.
Brilliant. Awesome. So earn this world and also earn the hereafter. Okay, there's a reason I called her Mother Teresa of Sri Lanka, and I don't take that back. I thought it might be an understatement, but it's not. It generally, it definitely is true. Thank you so much, Razni. It was a lovely conversation. I certainly learned a lot, and I'm inspired and motivated to do a lot of good things. I hope you are comfortable talking to me.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me here today. My goal has always been to inspire other young girls to give back to the society and see how rewarding and fun it can be. So I truly appreciate every opportunity I get to share my journey.
I'm sure it has been an inspiring conversation. Thank you so much for watching Perspectives, this special episode with Razni Razick. We'll see you next week with another special guest. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.